Well, welcome you guys to Yin. I'm going to review something that we did yesterday in Gentle. And I thought today we could just focus a little bit on fundamental movement. And we're going to add fundamental movement in the mix of our Yin practice. So it'll be a little active and a little passive kind of mixed in together today. So yesterday I was mentioning that there's certain fundamental movements that, we witness infants and toddlers doing when they're building up their strength and when they're becoming more human, really. So think about the importance of belly time that infants have to have. And that's in order to strengthen their core, to strengthen their back, to strengthen their neck, to hold their heads up. Um, and they also kind of swim around when they're on their bellies and eventually get into tabletop position. From tabletop position, they start to crawl around. And eventually, from that crawling stage, they start to lift their knees and they're doing downward facing dog. And you'll see the toddlers walking their feet towards their hands to stand up or walking their hands back towards their feet to stand up. Very similar to what we do on the mat in our yoga practice. And if you even think about a sun salutation, we're lengthening, we're folding, we're stepping back, we're stepping forward, we're opening the heart. There's a lot of fundamental movements in the mix of that. And in yoga, we talk about always trying to operate the spine in 6 directions. So we have the forward folding, we have the back bending, we have the side stretching, and we have the twist. So something that I added in yesterday that we're going to be starting with today is rolling in a very meticulous way from the back to the belly, from the belly to the back, just as like you would see a baby learning how to turn itself in their crib. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to begin on our backs. Let me see. I think we might need blocks today. So have those available. And we're just going to take a supine position and checking in, of course, with your back to see if it feels okay there or if it would feel better with your knees bent. And just feel the flooring beneath your body. And take in any sounds stemming from your environment, inside or outside of your home. And then I want you to place your right hand over your abdomen, your left hand over your heart. And at first, just feeling the movement under your hands. And then noticing the air passing through the nose. The heartbeat beneath your left hand. Focus on anything else you can discover inside. Maybe it's the next passing thoughts. Perhaps a gurgle in the belly. And then if the knees happen to be bent, you're going to straighten out your legs. And then you'll inhale, separate your hands from your torso and align them overhead into a Y type shape. Now with the first roll, we're going to be lowering or working with the lower body and keeping the upper body fully relaxed. So we'll elevate the left foot and just go slow motion, cross it over the right leg. And notice already your upper body may want to engage. I can feel my left shoulder and arm wanting to push down. So keep your left shoulder and upper body relaxed. Start to continue to carry that leg over. Let your head and left arm come last. And eventually turning on to the belly. Now to come back, you're going to turn to your right ear. You're going to lift your left hand. Now try not to use your legs. Just carry your left arm back. Rotate with your thoracic spine. And let your left foot come last. And land supine. Now we'll take it to the other side. Right foot will lift. Cross over, hover a moment. Notice the other muscles in the upper body that want to engage. But keep the upper body relaxed. Continue to spiral that leg over. Right arm stays relaxed. And coming onto the abdomen. I just got a good pop in my back with that side. Now turn to your left ear. Let your right arm reach up. Oh my goodness, I'm using my legs again. So pause. Try not to use your legs. Use your upper body. And then gently roll back. Ha. Okay. One side's usually a little harder. Now bend your knees. Separate your knees so they're fanning away to Baddha Konasana. And then if you want to lace your hands and tuck them underneath your head, you can add in some work for the shoulders. Notice whether or not you need props. If you feel like you need some support, you can always add the blocks under your knees or the bolster under your thighs. So just notice if you're wanting to contract your inner thighs or outer thighs. If you are, try to keep them soft. So the hips can expand. And just taking your time, surfing the wave of the breath. It rolls up and down the front side of the body. I discovered something this past week that I'd never heard before. And it's how the cheeks are related, and I'm talking about the cheeks of the face, are related to the pelvis. It's something to do with the nervous system. So we're going to release the hands now. And we're going to use our thumbs to find our cheekbones. And when you find the cheekbones, you're going to take the thumbs and go up underneath the cheekbones and apply a little bit of pressure. And it will almost feel like acupressure because there is tension here. And you may find you have more tension under one cheekbone versus the other. So you're just holding the pressure, moving the thumb slightly left and right. You can also give a little minuscule circle or massage here with the thumbs. So releasing the pressure and tension here is helpful for reducing the pent up tension around the pelvis. All right, now let your arms lay back out to the sides, palms open, and we'll take 3 deep breaths. Now lift your right knee, turn to your left side, push down into your right palm, and come up. All right, you might need a block because we're going to sit on the heels if that's a possibility. If not, you can sit on 1 or 2 blocks even. Just notice when you're elevated up on a block or sitting on your heels, the amount of a stretch you're getting in your quads. You may not feel much at all, but think of the flexion that you're getting here in the knees and the stretch you're receiving in the top portions of the feet. Now slowly erect the spine, bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. On our inhale, we're going to circle the arms up, lifting away from the block or the feet. And as we exhale, the hands come together and we sit back down. We're going to do that just a couple more rounds. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, sitting back. Last one. That's going to prepare us for a kneeling sun salutation, but we're going to mix in a yin pose. So as you inhale, this is like coming to Urdhva Hastasana, except we're in standing Vajrasana. And as we exhale, we're going to pour down into child's pose. Arms outstretched and bowing over the lap. You may or may not need that block anymore. On your next inhale, you're rocking up to hands and knees. As you exhale, you're sending yourself forward and lowering down to the belly. Now this is where you're going to come to the brow, hands up underneath the shoulders. Let your shoulders loop back, your elbows squeeze in, and your legs reach back to the feet are glued to the floor and the buttocks is firm. And then inhale, rising. Strengthening the core, strengthening the lower body, strengthening the back, strengthening the neck. Breathing so that as you're inhaling, you're slightly rising. Exhale, you're slightly spilling down. On your next in-breath, we're pressing back up to table. And as we exhale, the hands walk out, but we're staying in puppy pose. Now, puppy pose is a diagonal line from your wrist to your hips. We're not sagging or sinking into the shoulders. This is like a modification for down dog, but we are going to increase the sensation by now melting the heart and chin and shoulders towards the ground. Anahatasana. Now we have the curve in the low back that moves into the upper back. Promoting heart health, breast health. Maybe while you're here opening your heart, thinking of 1, 2, or 3 things you're grateful for. There are so many things in life that can harden the heart, but gratitude can help us to soften the heart. Now, on your next inhale, press through the palms, suction up through the belly, the ribs, the pits of the arms. Coming back to puppy, then walk your hands in towards your knees, long enough to rise to standing Vajrasana. And then exhale, sitting back down. All right, we're gonna come up now to standing Vajrasana. If the block is still there, move it. I moved mine just a little bit ago. One leg is gonna step through. You can even lean forward and build up to stand. And then we'll come to the top of the mat. When you come to the top of the mat, I want you to firmly plant your feet on the ground. Sorry, felt that coming. Line up your legs, elongate the vertebrae, and just notice when you're standing tall, how sometimes we have the tendency to tuck the tailbone, but we actually want the thighs to roll in and the heart to lift up. So we have a more neutral spine. Now inhale, lift the arms straight up overhead. And as you exhale, you're going to bend your knees and just cascade down to dangling pose. Take your time. Shifting your weight forward towards the toes. The weight can be lighter in the feet. And as the upper body spills down, make sure you're not holding tension in your shoulders or your neck. The mouth can be agape, especially if that softens the cheeks, the tongue, the teeth, the mouth, the jaw. Now on your next in-breath, we're going to step the left foot back. When you step the left foot back, lunge the right knee, sink the back knee, and untuck the back foot. Now, if you prefer to have your hands on blocks, if you want to be stationed here, this will work. If you feel like you need to back the hips up and stay in the lunge, again, supported by blocks, make that adjustment. But if you can really drop and maybe even collapse the upper body, you also have the option to be more yin-like here. Stay committed to that pose. Stay committed to your breath. And on your next inhale, gently float the head up, shift your hips back, and slide your right knee back to tabletop position. If you have the blocks underneath your hands, step them over to the sides because you're curling the toes. And now lifting up to downward facing dog. Pressing through the hands, stretching through the vertebrae. Finding the blend of power and grace. Now walk the feet forward. Slide your hands halfway up the legs and extend long through the spine. From Ardha Uttanasana, take an extra breath here. And then as you exhale, soften your knees again and recreate dangling pose. Notice where you're holding or resisting. Is it possible to let go more somehow, some way? Now lace your hands behind the back of your head. Collapse your elbows in towards your temples. And you're not pulling the head, you're just relaxing the arms. So there's just a slight little pull. And then release your hands. We're stepping back with the left foot. Oh, wait a minute. That's the same side. Step up with your left foot. Sit back with your right. Sorry, guys. Lunge the knee, lower the back knee. Using blocks. Again, if you need to be higher or if you need to back up a little. But if you can surrender, if you can deepen the stretch, move into that. Again, staying committed to the pose, committed to your breath. Then go ahead and slide your left knee back to table. Curl the toes, re-enter a downward facing dog. Creating this inversion. And then we're going to come back down for a little of our own tummy time. So when you're ready, come forward to plank. You can spill the knees down, or you can do a chaturanga down to the floor, and your arms are going to stretch out in front. So go ahead and lower down. And then inhale, we're going to lift to locust, all limbs, head and chest. And the first thing I want you to do is pick up your right limbs and then your left limbs. And you're just kind of swimming back and forth between the two sides. And then hold locust. And then we're going to alternate. Right arm, left leg. Left arm, right. And then alternating. And then releasing. Slide your hands up underneath your shoulders. Glue the feet more together. Roll up to a baby cobra and breathe. And then push through your hands. Gently come up. And sit back in child's pose. Let your elbows descend. If you need to separate your thighs, you can. You're welcome to do tadpole pose instead, where the legs are splayed open, but the big toes stay together. Choose your favorite. Breathe into your back body, especially after the back bends. Inhale, rock forward to hands and knees. And we're going to slide the left shin behind the hands. Now, of course, you can do the swan, but if that's not the best option, you can do deer, sitting more on your hip, right knee pulling up. If you're doing swan, the hips are more even with each other as you release. Next inhale. We're only coming up about halfway. And you can transition with me. If you don't have the room to roll, you can just flip your body. But if you want to join me, your left hand will take a hold of your left foot. You'll lower your head closer to the floor so it's easy to roll to your back. And then you're landing in half happy baby, where the knee is kind of angled off to the shoulder or to the left side of your body. Right leg's just going to stay kind of relaxed here. Now release your left foot and slide your legs out. Take your arms overhead. The right foot will lift. Remember, you're just using the lower body to create the swivel. The right arm hangs back, head hangs back, until you roll to the belly. Hands slide up under the shoulders and push up to table. And then the right knee and shin comes forward, left leg back. And again, if you need deer, it's okay to do deer instead. Inhale, come up about halfway. And again, if this operation doesn't work well with your body, you can do something else, but see if it's possible to take your right hand to your foot to start to lower the head. You can even take your left hand behind you just to kind of catch yourself or to find the floor. And then returning to half happy baby, but on the other side. Not holding this one as long, so just a couple more breaths. And I'll release the right foot, slide it out, extend arms overhead, pick up the left foot, cross it over the right leg. Let your left arm and head hang back. And eventually spill to the abdomen. Hands return under the shoulders, push up to table, and then coming into standing Vajrasana. Where the hands are on the hips and the shoulders roll back. So remember when I said we were standing, we didn't want that tailbone tucked, but we do want the tailbone to elongate for this pose because we're trying to get the thighs elevated over the knees. And it's also going to be a back bend, so it requires the frontal part of the hips. So bring your hands to your waist. We're not going to go very deep in camel today. Just create that security in your low back. Lift and open your chest, and then lean the head back. Ustrasana. And then eventually coming down and sitting on your heels and leaning the hands forward. We're going to revisit what we ended with yesterday, where the hands are making that triangle or diamond shape. If you need to sit on a block, that's okay too. The right pointer finger is going to reach out, and you have it at the height as well as the space kind of in between the eyes. And then you're just going to slowly rotate to the right. Back to center. We're going to stay on this right side. Take the twist. Oh, secure your hips so the hips don't swivel. Felt it on that second one. That was a good reminder for me too. Exhale, release your drishtis at your forefinger the whole time. One more, same direction to the right. Once you come back, release the hands, pick up your left, point the pointer finger, and then spin to your left. Do it 2 more times once you exit. Release. Okay, you're going to want a block. Grab one, have it available. So something I want to go over, since this is more about fundamental movement and a little bit anatomy today. If you look at the way the joints are kind of working through the body, we want mobility in the ankles, stability in the knees, mobility in the hips, stability in the low back, mobility in the shoulders. Okay, so let's come down. Bent knees, flat palms, and then without digging the hands or the arms into the floor, just being here relaxed, notice how you still feel like connected to the floor with your mid back, and that mid part of your chest may feel neutral or slightly sunken in. But we're going to pop that open. So to do that, we're going to roll the outer shoulders and arms to the floor so that you feel that your mid back is no longer flattened. You may still be touching, but it's not the same. And the cavity of the chest is picking up. Now maintain that, but lower the feet down. Lift the tailbone up. So you're coming into Setubandhasana. Now just see if you can continue to elevate the hips and the pelvis. See if you can draw the chest towards your chin. Maybe even rock the shoulders one at a time underneath your body and interlacing the hands. That may be too much for you today. If you can hold that, hold it for about 3 more breaths. Otherwise, if you're ready to find your block and make it restorative, take it, because that's where we're headed next. All right, I think you've had time to take 3 breaths. Slide that block underneath, rest on it, and then I'm going to give you an option. First option, just be here. Second option, fly the feet up. Now I'm going to take the third option today. Third option is straightening your legs out in front of you for a fuller bridge. Felt a lot of tension before underneath your cheekbones. You can add in that pressure. Yeah, it's funny is I don't even feel any pressure now, but I did earlier for sure. Maybe it's because we've been opening up. If the feet are floating, go ahead and bring them down. If your legs are extended, go ahead and slide the feet back. We're going to tuck and lift away from the block. Roll it down to the sacrum. And then cup a hold of your knees. All right, roll to one side of your body and come up. So since we got some back bends in today, I think it would be nice to counter that in our relaxation. So I keep meaning to bring one of my rectangular bolsters back. I used this one day and I just haven't returned it, but I think the round will work. So my suggestion would be to create a slide or Stonehenge. And this way your legs can be elevated. And your hands can take residence on your body somewhere. maybe your hips, maybe your abdomen, maybe one hand to belly and one hand to heart, like we began with. Elevating the legs and the feet can be good for circulation, and also good for calming us down. If you need a mantra for today's practice, try Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. It represents the state of union that we're striving to achieve in yoga. Aham Brahmasmi. Connecting us to our higher self, uniting us to the higher power. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Count 8 more breaths. After the 8, you can stretch the arms overhead. You can draw the knees in after that. You can roll to one side of your body and come up for a comfortable seat. Sitting upright, connecting your palms. May we all feel more united to our higher self and to the greatness that lies behind all of creation. May we lean in and trust that source. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.